So are the 7th anniversary LR EZAs dropping tonight? No. Are the EZA details dropping tonight? Perhaps. That's what people are talking about. So today we're going to be discussing why that is. Why are people suddenly thinking we're going to be getting those reveals tonight? There is a good reason for it. So let's just go ahead and jump in and discuss. And then afterwards, I want to do a little brief history throughout the other years of anniversary EZAs. So let's start with why this is happening. It all stems from the music change, the background music change. We've got the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. That song is in the JP side and then on the global side. Both are going away in about a day or two. So this is the official end time for the music. Now, what you need to know is whenever it comes to music change, there has to be a data download to implement in order to enact said change. And normally when a data download comes in, other things would also be part of that data download as well. They don't usually just do a minor little, microscopic data download just for the music change. Although maybe they have, I don't know. We'll have to ask Proton about that one. But that's essentially the basis for this logic. Why people are thinking that we could be getting EZA details tonight. It's because of an inevitable data download to enact this change. So if in order to translate the time zone here, this is GMT. What I've done is I've put it on dateful.com. So 14:59:59 GMT is the equivalent of 3 p.m. GMT, which means 7 a.m. February 26th. Now, for global players, this is not very significant, but for JP players, this is basically the reset for your game. So if the music is changing upon that new day, that makes sense. Starting from the new day, no background music. In order for this to happen, the data download would have to happen prior, usually about a day before or half a day. So if we were to reverse engineer this, then that would mean that the data download would happen around like 6 p.m. Because normally in my time zone, around early evening, a couple hours after Global's reset is when JP's data download begins. So that would be like around 6 or 7 p.m. my time. And infamously, Global's data download takes its sweet time and it's never at the same time. So this sounds about right. So February 25th, 6 p.m.-ish PST would be a data download. If a data download were to happen at that point and it were to include the 7th anniversary LR EZAs, then that would mean that they would have to proactively announce their details before the data download removes the element of surprise. So if the 25th evening is when we get the data download, the 24th evening or night would be when the unit details would be revealed, aka tonight. I am recording and posting this video on February 24th evening or afternoon, my time. So that means in just a few hours from now, it could potentially be where Dokkan reveals the details for these two EZAs. That is why people are thinking that it could be tonight. Now, one major hole in this theory is that just because a data download is coming in to fix a music background change doesn't necessarily guarantee that the 7th anniversary EZAs would be in there. Although it's a good theory and it's very logical and it makes all the sense in the world. So to play devil's advocate, it may not happen just because the data download is coming in, but based on the track record and in the past and all that stuff, it can happen. But I just activated Dokkan's trap card. I assumed, I applied logic. So let's see what happens. If it happens tonight, great. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't bother me in the end. Maybe we'll do a live stream. We'll just do another waiting room live stream or something like that to see if we can get it. If we don't, I mean, not a big deal. There's still more anniversary to be had, and there's also an EX coming up because of the SNS social media campaign thing. If you guys want to know why the whole EX thing is coming up, do check out my previous video. I'll put the link in the description for that. So that is the JP side. What's happening with Global? Global's end time is similar. It's not exactly the same time because JP and Global's reset times are different. So for Global's end time, 23:59:59 GMT, if we convert that, that is 11:59 p.m. GMT, which means for Global, this would be ending 1 minute before our reset, which again lines up with JP. Both versions are having the music removed right before the following day. So if the 26th afternoon for me is when the global reset is happening and the music change is happening, then a day prior, half a day-ish, would have to be when the data download comes in. Considering JP's data download is usually on early evening on the 25th, Global's data download would be later that night. It's usually like 4 or 5 hours later. So this would be an approximate data download time for Global on the 25th. Since I'm recording this on the 24th, why is that significant? Well, because if the data download is the following day, then the previous day should be the EZA reveals. Now, Global is infamous for not always doing this and posting the EZA details. So if they ultimately don't, it doesn't quite matter because we'll still have the JP version. All it means is that Goresh and Minato will have to work overtime, which, whatever. I mean, they're used to it. They'll get over it. And so that means that, again, it lines up with the theory that the EZA details could be tonight. Will it happen? Again, nobody knows. I don't mind if they take a little longer because I think that there's enough content at the moment, but I'm sure some people will disagree. And everybody is just eagerly waiting for these characters' EZAs to arrive. Everybody is waiting. I mean, the Part EX video blew up because of the anticipation, the excitement. Everyone just wants to have these units be as transcendent as we're expecting them to be, which leads me into the next part of the video, which is kind of going through the history of the anniversary EZAs. I'm just going to tell you this. I don't think they're going to miss. I think that they're going to do an excellent job with these two characters, mainly because if we look back at the anniversary EZAs, they have not missed in the parts that count. Some would disagree, like depending on who you ask. I'm sure some people would say that they hate the Kaioken Goku. I personally don't mind the Kaioken Goku. I think that he's fine. His design does need a little bit more. I don't like the orb changing element. I do think that that's a little weak. And I do think that the damage reduction is deceivingly low, but he actually can hold his own very well. He is not a slot 1 unit by any stretch. He should not be put there. We stress tested him in the showcase. But in terms of damage, I mean, he gives you that instant gratification of dealing some massive damage. And that's good. And I like that. And with other characters on your team, I mean, it's not just about individual accolades anymore. It's about team combinations and all that stuff. So I think that he fits in pretty well. They could have done a little bit more, which is something that can be said for several characters. But if you want to rule out these guys, I think the anniversary part 1 EZAs have not missed. So let's go back over the course of the last few years, starting with the... Actually, let's go back even further. Why am I here? Let's go to JP campaigns. Going back to the last year, right? 8th anniversary. That is when we had the 9th anniversary. What am I saying? The 9th anniversary is when we had the 6-year LRs get their EZAs, right? UI Goku and Royal Blue Vegeta. They EZA'd into some amazing characters that even to this day are still some of the best in the game. I remember there was this massive debate between which character was actually better. Is it UI Goku or Royal Blue Vegeta now with their revive condition? I think the debate still continues. I personally think that the Vegeta is better. Some would disagree. I would say that Vegeta's revive is probably even better now with all of the dodge canceling that exists. But basically with Vegeta's like 5-hit requirement, once you get that, you can revive at any point. I think that's much better than the dodge thing, depending on what situation it is. But these guys are incredible. They're the part 1s. I think the part 2s for them are also really good. Team Android 17, right? Team Universe 7. 17 Golden Frieza, both fantastic. The Android 17 int unit is better by far, in my opinion, but both still hold up. Then if we go back to the 5th anniversary, the 5th anniversary has, I think, a mixed bag for some people. But when the unit, both the EZAs first came out, I think most people will agree they were incredibly good. The ability to have slot 3 functionality was sort of a very obscure thing back in the day. And by back in the day, I mean 8th anniversary. Because they EZA during the 8th anniversary. But having slot 3 functionality with a 70% chance to dodge, and then when they come back turn 4, they have a guaranteed dodge for the turn, being able to throw them into slot 3 to activate their active skill and then transfer them to slot 1, inheriting the traits of the slot 3. There was all this cool manipulation that you could do with the field to actually make these guys that much better. And I would argue they're still effective to this day with that guaranteed dodge with the 70% slot 3. Probably not as highly coveted as some of the newer characters, but still, I think that they did a fantastic job with these two EZAs. And for their part 2, I mean, Broly Trio is incredible. Goku Black Rose, I'm sure some people will probably disagree. They're not as good, which is fine. I think the Future Saga has gotten pretty weak over the years, but still, Broly Trio is really good. So yeah, 5th anniversary was decent. 4th anniversary, the part 2 LRs, yeah, that's kind of where we start to lose it. I would say the 4th anniversary part 1s, though, were very good for their time. They dropped during the 7th anniversary. And actually, what's funny is that during the 7th anniversary, we actually had 2 sets of anniversary EZAs. We had the year 3s and the year 4s. And actually, now that I think about it, I can't quite remember if the year 3 EZAs were all that good. They probably were. I got to admit, there is some recency bias kind of clouding my judgment because these guys got their 10th anniversary insane boosts right leading up to the 10th anniversary, right? And they were so strong that I just don't remember how they were. But I do remember that during the 7th anniversary, like the Broly red zone was such a menace. It was devastating players all over the world that being able to cancel enemy action was such a rare thing, because that was what the new year LRs were able to do, the new anniversary LRs. And then these guys also had the same ability. So instead of being able to dodge Broly, what you were able to do was cancel Broly, and having more units do that just made them so coveted. These guys were incredibly powerful. They hit really hard. Now looking back with no damage reduction and no dodge and all that stuff, obviously they seem weaker, but at the time, trust me, they were good. I can't remember. Comment section down below, how were the year 3 LR EZAs during this time? I just don't remember them at all. And if they were good, that just proves my point. So like I said, the part 1 anniversary units, they have not missed. If you want to say that the part 2s can be a little, you know, wishy-washy, that's fine, but the part 1s have not missed. So I am confident that they will do a good job with these 2 EZAs. The real question is probably going to be, how are they going to go about the leader skill updates? Because now that we are in a brand new domain, now that we're in like a brand new order in terms of how Dokkan's leader skills are done, what I think they're probably going to do is they're just going to bump up the 170% lead to 180 and then leave it at that. This will amount to a 210% leader skill. It's not quite the same as the 220, but it's also a little bit of an improvement from what it was before. I think that's how they're going to do it. Initially, I wasn't so sure that they were going to change it at all, but because they had the unmitigated goal to bounce up the leader skill as far as they did, I think they will totally do the same thing for these leader skills, but just not as much. And this will be setting the standard for 200% updates moving forward, because Saiyan Day 2025, when we get that, we will be getting the Int Majin Vegeta EZA. We should be anyway. And if that were to happen, well, we would get the same sort of effect that we would get here, depending on whatever that is. Will they go as far as just a 10% bump, or will it be more than that? And as far as the overall kit upgrades, I don't want to discuss this one because I'm just terrible. And you guys have been roasting me recently, which I totally get because I'm just trash at it. So why don't you guys tell me, what sort of upgrades are we going to get on this? If you guys really want me to do some sort of a predictions video, maybe I will. But if we do get the reveals tonight, then I don't have to. So if we don't get the reveals tonight, I might do a predictions video tomorrow. But yeah, you guys let me know. You guys do the work because you guys are smarter than me when it comes to this stuff. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, obviously leave a like down below. Let in the comments your thoughts on the possibility of these 2 EZA's reveals happening tonight. Do you think it's going to happen, or do you think they're going to be saving these guys for the Part EX? They did it for the 4th anniversary LR EZAs. Can't they do the same thing here? Although these guys should be happening during the core celebration. But still, what do you think is going to happen? Dokkan is a big troll. They will never let you guess their next move, so who the heck knows what they're going to do? Feel free to share in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more Dokkan content in the future, and click the notification bell so that you let YouTube know you want to see more of myself do it. Thanks again. Stay tuned, and remember to Dokkan responsibly.